Hey there guys, this is Obsidian Chill. I've got another video for you today. And by now, if you've logged in during the DLC, you would have noticed that all your trinkets have changed into the new tier system. So I thought I'd talk about the tier system here. We'll jump to the forums to go in a little bit more detail, and then we'll jump to the spreadsheets because I know that's what you really care about, but we'll save that till last. So essentially, now all the icons have changed. So all the basic trinkets, like the pet trinkets, bat forms, anything else, now have this kind of bear claw animation. Well, not bear claw animation, bear claw icon. We have all the AoE turrets. So snake turret, the Brainiac turret, which you'll see shortly in this video. The snake turret, shadow snake turret. They are the now have this kind of like satellite dish icon. And then this kind of mounted machine gun, that is the single target one. So the gem turret, antimatter, we've got the green crystal, source lightning from SM. That's what those icons are now. And the colors are represented by the tier 1, which is basically the bottom tier, which is green. The second tier, tier 2, is going to be blue. And then tier 3 is purple. So purple kind of stayed the trinkets of what they were before. And then right now, the only tier 3 trinkets for now are going to be the survival mode trinkets, and now that we have the nightmare bat, which I'll also show very shortly, that is going to be it. So essentially you'll see it on the forums as well, but the general idea is that each DLC episode there's going to be 2 trinkets, and then basically those 2 trinkets will have a tier 1, 2, and 3 drop in the elite raid, and basically in the elite raid. So as you can see here in the description, so rare drop from elite, feet attached. Then if we go to the same one in tier 2, it says rare drop from normal, feet attached. And then if we go to the tier 1, rare drop from event mode, there's no feet. So the description is really clear. They're all tradable as well. So I mean, it's integrate when it's equipped. So basically, you can trade the tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 trinkets just like normal. The drop rates from elite are going to be rare, just like they would be as normal as well. So that's essentially the tier system now being applied. So I'm going to jump to the forums, we'll go over what Sharon said, and then we'll jump to the spreadsheets. Okay, so now taking a look at Sharon's announcement here. Now this pretty much follows the exact same line as I was talking about before in previous videos. This is a system that Sharon's wanted to implement for a while. So this basically just breaks down all the trinkets here. Like I said before, previously it was from Atlantean Seahorse going forward. So all the previous trinkets that happened before Atlantean Seahorse, there's not really too many to mention. Like, I mean, the main ones are like the booze and the summer event trinket. And some of the other ones are just really outdated, like LexCorp trinket, stuff like that. Those will not be seeing any sort of updates in terms of tiers. Those are basically like, think of it like grandfathered trinkets now. So tier 1 pets behave as they do now on live. So tier 2 pets have increased in size and now do 50% more hit points in terms of health. And 5% more damage. So the difference between green and blue is 5% damage and 50% more health, so greater survivability. Tier 3 pets will be immune to crowd control and do an additional 5% more damage. So difference between blue and purple would be 5% damage, and then you can't CC the tier 3 pets, which is all situational anyway. Tier 3 will have extra effects on their flare to them, except for survival mode, which will have the unique texture model combination. Just means that they're going to be different in size again, or might have new animations to them, just something to separate it. All the pets have new icons that are color-coded tier, so tier 1 equals green, blue, purple. Tier 1 through 3 pets have new mobile pet and new AoE turret pets, like I said before. The Brainiac and the Nightmare Bat, which you'll see just momentarily. And then the main point here I want to say is that details on obtaining other pets currently exist at higher tiers will be forthcoming. So what that means is that there eventually will be a system where you could take a Paradox Gazer tier 1 or a Vampire Bat tier 1 and turn that into a tier 3 pet in terms of either leveling it or crafting it or buying marks, whatever. Like that system hasn't been created yet, but that will. So that's what that means, is that if you're saying that only elite players can get the best trinkets now, that's not entirely true, because there will be a system for you to upgrade your lower tier trinkets to the same level as elite trinkets. So yes, obviously elite players or anyone running elite can get that elite trinket and not have to worry about upgrading it. But if a player that doesn't want to run elite or doesn't run it at all, or doesn't want to afford it in terms of off the broker, now they will have a system to be able to upgrade that mother box to higher damage. That's essentially what that system is, but that's kind of forthcoming. That'll be future TBD. So let's jump into and show you the brand new 2 trinkets, and then we'll jump to the spreadsheets. Okay, so now we're at the section that people actually wanted to see. Well, I hope you want to see, considering it took like 5 or 6 hours to do all this nonsense. Jesus. Forgot how testing pets was quite tedious, but at least I don't have to do like 60 or 70 pets. Now there's 23 pets times 5, so that's what, 115, and then 115 times 2 because I have to do the whole thing again on a single target. So that's was that 230? So 230 pet testing, and then the cooldown's 108 seconds each, so you can do the math on how long that's going to take. So essentially I broke it down here. So tier 1 green, tier 2 is blue, and tier 3 is purple. So as you can expect here, the difference is, like, it's, when you think about it, it's not that large a difference. So if you look at like Mother Box and Empire Bat, that's like 664, 665, 680. Now going to tier 2, it's 688, 693. So it's only like a 25, 30k gap between tier 1 and tier 2. And then even jumping up to tier 3, so we've got the Freeze Drone, Source Lightning, Eagle, Nightmare Bat, and Shadow Bat. Those are all like 720, 730. So it's less than 100k difference between tier 1 to tier 3. So it's all marginal. Yes, obviously there's a damage increase, but at the same time you have to remember that since these are all beam type trinkets, you have the beam penetration from my previous video. So you could have, so a tier 1 trinket could do way more damage than a tier 3 depending on positioning, depending if that beam penetrates on AoE targets. You also have situations where the ads could die and the pets don't fully DPS. I mean, the pets could die initially. So, I mean, there's so many factors and so many things to account for when you're thinking of overall pet testing. So this is just a perfect scenario on sparring targets. It doesn't necessarily mean you're always going to get 730k or you're always going to get 680k of these trinkets on live. So that's what you have to remember. This is just basically baseline testing. So yes, if you wanted the baseline, what's the strongest trinket in the game? Technically now it's the Shadow Bat, but I mean, the difference between Nightmare Bat and Shadow Bat, 731, 732, completely marginal. So it's basically a system where I wouldn't really think of it as a reskins, although it is, but it gives you more flexibility in terms of what you want to use. So you're not really stuck to using the best trinket in the entire game anymore. Now you could run technically the Source Lightning Eagle, because I mean that's hardly any difference. The Freeze Drone is slightly behind, but same thing. So now as long as you're using a tier 3 pet that you like, go ahead. You know, if you prefer using Freeze Drone over Shadow Bat, then go ahead. It's not a giant difference. As you work up the tier stims, you can still use it. I mean, even if you love the Brainiac Gazer or the Brainiac Joan because it fits your style or whatever, I mean, that's still 660 versus 730. So you're still doing, 80, 90k less damage, but it doesn't mean like you're drastically dropped off in damage. Like I said before, the only bit more attractive trinkets now are the AoE ones, because when you think about it, if you do 730k damage over 60 seconds, now we're doing almost 500 and, we're doing over 500,000 damage in 10 seconds. So that's something to consider for situations where it's kind of like ad. The biggest thing I can think of is like the groups of ads on QE at the start. Those ads are so squishy. Even if you think of like the ads of like Shadow Gotham, if you bop one of these 60-second trinkets, you're going to lose a lot of damage time because they're not going to fully DPS. Where if you drop one of these turret trinkets in 10 seconds, you're going to get that full damage on that set of ads. They also increase the radius of it, so the turrets now hit for, before it used to be more close range, now I think it's like 15-20 meters. So you don't have that risk of it. Even though these turrets don't move, their range has been increased the same as their radius, so they're going to hit those targets now. So this was AoE. We can jump over a single target. So basically, top AoE trinket, technically Shadow Bat, but Nightmare was so close behind. Top in the tier 2 was the Dark Construct, and then top in tier 1 was Vampire Bat. But you know, Mother Box is, yeah, a little bit behind. So we'll jump over to a single target. Same thing, not really drastic differences, just the damage decrease. So now in top in tier 1 was Brainiac Drone, 462, but I mean Vampire Bat at 460. If we jump to AoE, same thing. So I mean, overall it's going to be the Vampire Bat for tier 1. It just happens to be the Brainiac Drone's higher than single target. Nightmare Bat and Contract Bat, same thing. They're pretty much carbon copies of each other regardless. So that's why they're so close. And then top for single target for their tier 3s was technically Nightmare Bat, where before it was Shadow Bat. But I mean, same thing. 497, 499, 2k difference is really marginal. Same thing, 1k difference, 2k difference. So essentially, well, obviously it's a reskin, but the exact same pet. So even if you didn't run SM, well, now you can run. Now you can get the Nightmare Bat, because the Nightmare Bat's going to drop in elite content in this World of Flashpoint. So even if you missed the Source Lightning Eagle or Shadow Bat because you didn't run SM, now you have the option of the better tier 3 or the just as good tier 3 pet, Nightmare Bat. So the spreadsheet, I'm not going to include in the description yet, because I want to fill out all the other sections. Like I still have to retest like all the henchmen. I got to do the sidekicks again. I got to do the full listing, because I still got to test like the old trinkets and stuff too that are grandfathered. So once this is fully done, because this is still like a lot of work, I'll do that. But what I will do is, if you follow my Discord, I will put the links to these images in the Discord. So if you want to kind of have a quick reference to be what the basically the pet tiers are like, then you can jump to that. And I should be able to update my forum posts as well with this as well. So take care, guys. Thanks for watching as always. If you have any questions about pets at all, put them in the comment section and I'll answer them. Take care, guys. Thanks for watching.